right-hand man of the president.
We have to get Elon with this boy.
But he is somebody who has both tremendous wealth and tremendous access to just about every single part of the federal government.
You're a supervillain. That's what a supervillain does.
Yeah. The chainsaw for bureaucracy. Turns off.
The bromance is still there?
Yeah. It's extraordinary and doesn't have many precedents, I don't think, in American politics. Their close relationship and the amount of time that Elon Musk spends with the president.
Become one of your best friends. He's working for free for you.
I just want to be clear about that.
You love the president.
I think President Trump is a good man.
That's the way he said that. There's something nice about it.
Yeah, it is.
Elon Musk spent
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
helping Donald Trump return to the White House.
I have created the brand new department.
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
Now, who am I gonna banish from this match?
Who is in the gallery tonight?
A short walk from the White House is the Doge Nerve Center. It's here Musk's lieutenants are tasked with finding $2 trillion in government savings.
I call them high IQ individuals, and they're very IQ, and they're finding billions, and it will be hundreds of billions of dollars worth of fraud.
So far, Doge claims it's cut over $100 billion, including from education and environment sectors and international aid.
Notified every single government DEI officer that their job has been deleted. They're gone. They're fired. You're fired. Get out. You're fired.
Reducing government waste might seem like a good idea, but putting an unelected billionaire...
The right heroes could make all the difference.
And giving him seemingly unlimited access to the federal bureaucracy hasn't been applauded by everyone.
He can go in there and turn off a Social Security payment. He can turn off a payment to a U.S. aid organization. He can turn off a payment to the Australian government.
His story of Cole Penner says handing an outsider absolute access has never
Round
been done.
one, go!
Occasionally takes stuff that doesn't belong to you.
Will, with that level of unchecked, unregulated
They'll be coming in
power,
30 seconds.
we
Stay
haven't seen
strong.
that in a president, much less someone who is
Everyone is looking
the
at me as
president's
if they know
sidekick.
me.
Elon can't
It's a
do
strange
He
feeling.
won't do anything
You may have
without
just been unthought in your timeline,
approval.
but to
Where
us,
we think there's
you
a
were a trusted
conflict,
friend for
problem
ages.
I haven't led a fighting force of this magnitude since the war. What if I don't live up to your expectations?
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Your voice is in my head. You would too, if I listened.
You're welcome.
That's the most I needed.
Feeling fantastic.
Feeling fantastic.
What am I? Invisible?
You're welcome. Needed that, thanks. See, I'm fucking helpful.
Didn't like it.
There's been sort of an embrace and an attempt to boost Elon Musk.
I'll patch you up.
Companies in response. So I think Elon Musk has reported for the White House.
This is a nice spot.
I'll be shipshape in no time.
Us against the world!
You're ready, sir?
Situation's desperate here. Retreat now.
Shields up! Better watch your back.
Crichton says these Doge cuts are exactly what the Trump faithful ordered.
The U.S. aid budget.
A little help, please.
I'll patch you up. All right. Team play. That's me. This is real firepower.
By the eye of Agamotto!
My good deed for the day. You're welcome. We've been discovered.
The old world order. The thing about Trump is that he says
I'll patch you up. I'll be ship-shape in no time.
I'm opening a portal.
We better retreat.
Gambling with World War III. Communities have our military
Pentagram of Paran.
You need to stop that vehicle in its tracks. Enemy located. Better stop that vehicle.
Well, it was
I tend to laugh.
Trump has burned through decades of goodwill, trust, and
The time
morale
entanglement is a
that America has
vexing
built.
problem.
They've made it halfway. Stop Just embrace the light.
It's clobbering
Chaos! There's still a chance to stop them.
Dark magic.
They hit a checkpoint. Now might be the time to stop them.
One couldn't win without the other.
directly behind you.
Better stop that vehicle.
The Sorcerer Supreme returns.
80 years, the United States has played a key role in policing the world. But in the blur of the first 100 days of Donald Trump's second term, nothing has changed. Under his America First foreign policy, maintaining traditional...
It's now or never. Stop this.
This is real firepower!
By the eye of Agamotto!
Us against the world. Yeah! Chaos!
By the eye...
America has stood shoulder to shoulder
Don't give them another inch. Or else.
against Russia. and
Mortal
Vladimir
pain
Putin.
is no match for the Sorcerer Supreme.
Now, this theater of war is at the very heart of Donald Trump's vision.
The current score is 0-2-3. Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
More political values with Putin than it does
Open your eyes. Reality is but an illusion.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
which is surprising.
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
They're bombing the hell out of them right now.
Basically, Trump has done a 180 to move the U.S. position to be closely aligned with the Kremlin. Trump thinks Putin is his friend, and he thinks Trump is an easy mark that he can use his KGB skills against, and which he has in the first
Round
100
two.
days.
Ships
he
are
has a
down.
great
You
advantage.
want your heroes a little roguish and scruffy, like
for the
me.
United States, not for anybody else. And it's interesting because there's nobody been tougher on Russia than me.
And now he's
30
pressuring
seconds
NATO
before you
to
attack.
post
Get
World
ready.
War II Defense Alliance, insisting European members pay
The winds
more
may not be
or
blowing in our
else.
favor,
I
Eric.
think it's common
When
sense.
has that
If
ever
they don't
stopped
pay,
us
I'm not gonna
before?
defend them. No, I'm not gonna
Be
defend them. I got
careful.
into a lot of
There are
heat
some
when
forces
said
that even
police
I
are
cannot
always
alter.
violating NATO.
Do not forget, my dear.
Donald Trump.
We are mutants. We are change itself. There is nothing.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1! All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Billions of people are counting on us to put the timeline back where they belong.
This is a nice spot.
I feel like we're
Ready for action.
That helps.
My good deed for the day. Killed at last. This is a nice spot. You're welcome.
I'll get you next time.
That fucking hurt. You're welcome.
Hurricane incoming!
This is real firepower. Dangerous. I'll patch you up.
I suppose that helped. A time fixed.
The space rodent amplifier is disabled.
This is real firepower. You're ready for action. See, I'm blocking hell. Not too many things to press. Storm, Rick, Steve, Clark, and Impress. You're welcome. Sorry the wind's turned against me.
This deserves your attention. That was fine. Thank you.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Great open.
Jeffrey Goldberg says he was accidentally tested warp.
I just got more dangerous. I'll patch you up.
Another unsuspecting.
Get ready. Here come the bad guys.
You're ready for action. Armor patch here. Hey up. Those bigots don't grow on trees, you know.
Come with us, Agent.
You're ready for action. Fucking You're ready for This is real power.
I see them.
You're welcome.
Any healing is good.
This is a nice spot.
The thunder raging in your honor, Aurora.
Just embrace the light.
Here comes rocket again.
Co-op time.
You're ready for action.
Us against the world.
See, I'm behind us. That fucking hurt. Man, I gotta make another beacon. I'll patch you up.
I was fine. Hurricane incoming!
Team play. That's me. You're ready for
How
action.
dangerous this place is at night.
I'm excellent.
Central Park.
This is real firepower. Sorry the wind's turned against us. You're welcome. This is real firepower.
It's clobbering time!
Oh, I'm gonna get some revenge. You're welcome.
An opportunity for comeback.
Of course, it's stacked with conservative-leaning judges. A number of
Thanks.
I'll patch you up.
You belong to me!
No giving up. We still got some fight left.
Only 60 seconds left. Slow without me.
You're ready for action.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Against the world!
Oh, someone scratch my back. You're welcome.
Down to 30 seconds.
It's clobbering time!
Rockets, launch it again.
Pull-up time. The final 10 seconds.
This is real firepower.
My turn to shine.
Grip on Congress
You ain't got rid of me yet.
as well.
You're ready for action.
Final score. 1, 2, 3.
Diverging views, vigorous debate on policies, a check on power. So far, there's not much of a
Well, you can't expect to win them all.
how much he can do, how far the limits are that he can take his executive powers in some ways.
Alongside the courts, the Democrats should be a check on the powers of the president, but so far they've been in no position to hold him back.
Democrats have been cowed by his dominance, and they have not yet reassembled to figure out how they propose any alternative. But I think that will come at some point over the next 4 years, and you'll have an alternative vision that they try to have for the country. And I think that there will be some clashes for sure to come.
No clash. I was there. You're just a troublemaker.
To date, some of Trump's biggest clashes have been with the press.
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
Media was an enormous source of political power for him. And so coming into this second Trump administration, he has taken that aggressiveness towards
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
Now, who am I going to banish from this match?
Who literally write 97.6% bad about me are political arms of the Democrat Party.
John Clear.
So, it was out with some members of the traditional press.
Officials banned Associated Press reporters from covering events in the White House. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt says it's because the AP has declined to call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
It is a fact that the body of water off the coast of Louisiana is called the Gulf of America.
Who are you with? Who are you with? Oh, no wonder. That's a NBC.
I truly feel like Donald Trump should be the best person for this country in the next 4 years.
But it was a warm welcome for new media.
Happy days are almost here.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Sometimes, comedians just have to put rude interviewers in their place. Like when Ricky Gervais had a tense face-off with Joy Behar after she accused him of being sexist in one of his jokes.
Referring to Sex and the City 2, you said I was sure the Golden Globe would go to the team that airbrushed that poster.
Yeah.
A little sexist.
No, it's not. Why is it sexist?
Well, because the girl is saying that the girls are older and they need to be airbrushed.
No, I think they look great at their age. Why hide it?
Oh.
I don't think that you lose your sensuality because you hit 53.
Round
I'm saying
one,
lay
go!
alone.
But the drama didn't stop
Sometimes
there.
we take
Hosts
stuff
of
other
the
people are
Couch
garbage.
Pushing, criticizing Gervais for participating in a male
We'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay
On
strong.
the HBO special, Talking Funny, we just saw clips from it, right? So we got Jerry Seinfeld, Chris Rock, Louis C.K. No women comedians on that show?
I haven't found anything that's been able to
I don't know which one
No, it was four people. Yeah, so who would you take on?
Whatever it is,
There you go.
I'd prefer.
That's when Gervais hit back with a sarcastic joke. But as you can
The
tell
battle
from the
starts in
host's
5,
reactions,
4,
they clearly weren't
3, 2,
fans.
1.
So we didn't want him in the room.
You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
Things got even more intense when Behar asked if Gervais thought women were funny.
Those guys are about to shoot at us.
But he calmly shut it down with a thoughtful response.
That's fucking hurt. Back from the brink, baby.
I suppose that helped.
But this next clip, see the tension between Shane Gillis and Andy Schultz. Hit a whole new level when the host Shane TikTok.
This is fucking
Hold on.
That's crazy.
When science failed me, magic was there.
That actually is.
I'm opening a portal.
And you know what?
That's his rival's profile picture.
Pentagram of Hurrah. Don't drown in darkness.
Armed and dangerous. Again.
Who has family members with Down syndrome, but the hosts still didn't stop.
That's not me. Get the joke. What do you say? Yeah, that's okay, dude.
Gillis
You need
reached
to
his
stop that
breaking
vehicle in
point
its
when the
tracks.
hosts laughed at a video of someone with Down syndrome dancing, prompting him to finally put his foot down.
Better stop that vehicle.
I suppose that helped.
Okay, hold your horse. Ping the bad guy. This is real. Pulse charge. Fire. Fear Magneto. All right. Your powers are mine. Fear Magneto. Supernova.
Co-op time.
You're ready for action. My good deed for the day. King the bad guy. Someone smash my...
You stopped them in their tracks.
Don't you save that for your parties when you're wearing your smoking jacket?
Lock in on this side. The enemy.
That's a gag off. He is really well read.
My good deed for the day. I'll patch you up.
Okay, to win this just right.
You belong to
This is
me!
a nice spot.
Things
You
took an
stopped them in their
unexpected
tracks.
turn when Mar brought up the Israeli-Palestinian conflict,
You're welcome.
only for Burr to challenge him head-on.
Have you heard what's going on in college campuses these days? Much more. You don't realize that college campuses are erupted with the kids demonstrating for Hamas? They are in with the terrorists. They were
I'll patch you up.
Palestinians. Well, it's sort of the same cloth. Why, are you? I'm on the side of the kids. Yeah.
I suppose that helped.
Mar kept pushing, but Burr stood his ground, showing no
That put a
signs
spring in my
of
You're
step.
ready for action.
This is a war zone. I'm the one who actually raised it.
King the bad guy. Armed and... This is real firepower. I'll patch you up. All right. Your powers are mine.
By the eye of Agamotto!
This is a nice spot. Tony, you got
Don't attack them. There's a very simple solution to all this problem.
You're ready for
Stop
action.
attacking Israel. You stop attacking Israel. I did. I actually did. That's fantastic.
By the end, it was clear that Burr had enough of Lars' inflated ego and decided to shut him down with some brutal comebacks.
Let's go to Russia and the
You're
Ukraine.
ready for action.
I mean, your hard-nosed decision about that. This is why this is not yours.
Something doesn't feel right here.
That's me.
Behold the god of thunder!
How does that help?
You're welcome.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Turn around!
What have you done in Washington?
Radio host
You ain't
Wanda
got rid
Smith,
of me yet.
where what started as playful banter quickly turned personal. It all started when
I'll
Williams
patch you
joked
up.
about Smith's cooking skills.
Armor patch here. Pay up. You're ready for action. You swung here.
There's still a chance to stop them.
This is real firepower. You're welcome. Just walking hurt. Pulse charge.
Down to 30 seconds.
Crunch time. Hang in there.
Something he had specifically asked
I'm
her
gonna
not
get
to
some
mention.
revenge. Relay deployed. It ain't cheap.
I've never been to prison.
The final 10 seconds. You stopped them in their tracks.
No.
Us against the world.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Armed and dangerous. Here comes rocket again. Relay deployed. It ain't cheap.
Security needs a hand sometimes.
Enemies on approach. Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
But as intense as that
Now that was awesome.
it's not the only time an interviewer
The current
found
score
themselves
is
on the receiving end of a takedown.
0-2.
Just look at how
1.
Chelsea Handler destroyed Piers Morgan.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
On Twitter. I mean, you can't even pay attention for 60 seconds. You're a terrible interviewer.
Instead of backing down, Morgan then tried to put the blame on Handler, but she delivered an unforgettable knockout punch.
Well, but that's not my problem. This is your show. You have to pay attention to the guests that you invited on your show. Yeah, they are. Listen, it doesn't matter how interesting I am. You signed up for this show. Well, maybe that's why you're done.
Good guy who occasionally takes stuff that doesn't belong to him.
Comedian Russell Brand would similarly fire back at hosts who he felt disrespected him with their lukewarm introduction.
All right, joining us now, he's a really big deal.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Pop culture, I'm sorry. Comedian, movie star, author, and host of the show Brand X, Russell Brand.
As if that dismissive intro wasn't bad enough, another host then made a slight comment about Brand's accent.
Oh, my costume just kind of came with my powers, and I'm practically seeing inside it. The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
It's experience, just sort of taking it all in. You're talking about it as if I'm not here, and as if I'm an extraterrestrial.
I was fine.
That's when Brand completely took over the interview, leaving the hosts flustered beyond belief.
Who is Willie?
Now you fucking hurt.
I'll patch you up. It's people of America. I want the people of America to come and see me do stand-up. Go to russellbrand.tv where you can purchase tickets to see me. These people, I'm sure, are typically not very good at their job. What are you? You're conveying news to the people of America. Way more than it should have.
Things are gonna be different this time.
These are your trusted anchors.
And while Brand called out
This
his
is a
hosts
nice
for their
spot.
lack of decorum,
You're
Patrice
ready for
O'Neal
action.
took on something
Back
even
to my
bigger,
full
taking
glory.
a stand against censorship in comedy and passionately defending free speech during his fiery 2007 showdown.
Capture
on
this
Fox
area.
News.
I think the nation is just tired. There's a new mood in
Relay deployed. It ain't cheap.
You know what? We're tired of things that are just...
I'll patch you up.
Speaking for me, and I don't know her, but I'm assuming that she has nothing to do with funny. So I'm gonna speak as the expert on
tops me
funny.
off.
Funny
Thanks.
people should just be left to try to be funny.
As the debate heated up, O'Neal
Those
stayed
bigots,
calm
you're
and
ready for
collected,
action.
tearing their arguments apart with sharp logic.
Never miss. This is real firepower.
I was fine.
You're ready for action.
This has been a beautiful response of just the general public saying to advertisers, we're your consumers. We don't want to have to avoid everything in the street. We don't want to have to worry about what radio station we turn on. And there is some really derogatory.
You're welcome.
Information, ma'am, is secondhand from the
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
that someone may say something that needs to
Armor
be
packed here. Pay up.
Another unsuspecting foe.
all victims.
While
I was
O'Neal
fine.
I'll
praised
patch
for
you up.
holding his ground, Tiffany Haddish faced backlash for her response to a reporter's question.
Behold the god of thunder!
Do a little plastic.
Team play. That's me. You're ready.
The reporter was clearly flustered. Haddish wasn't done yet, doubling down and driving her point home.
See, I'm Clark and helpful. You're welcome. Supernova!
You belong to me!
That helped.
The king wants his cat figurines.
Right, queen.
Okay, whatever.
With many feeling her reaction turned
Born again! You're ready for action. Team play. That's me.
Jim Carrey's existential meltdown.
Us against the world! Woo!
Never miss. This is real firepower. You're welcome. Ow! That fucking hurts.
Kat Sadler kept trying to steer things back on track.
Well,
However, wasn't ready to be quieter.
you're welcome. See, I'm fucking helpful. I'll patch you up. Come on. The Panthers count. See, I'm I don't have the welcoming committee. That's the stuff.
I despise you, Bastet. But I despise outsiders more.
Then wrap up the surreal exchange.
Final
the
score,
left Sadler
2-2-1.
completely speechless.
Here's the thing, it's not our world.
None
That's
of
the
this is
key.
real?
Nope.
So you're just passing
We don't matter. We don't matter.
Another epic victory! Big win!
Dismissed Fashion Week as meaningless, Joan Rivers made a career out of scathing fashion critiques, which led to a heated CNN interview that became infamous.
With your fashion critiquing, while it's very mean in some ways, it's not mean. It's not mean. You know, you have some shock value to you. I mean, you're on the cover of your book. You're wearing a fur. You knew that there would probably be animal rights activists.
You know, this whole interview is becoming a defensive interview.
No!
Are
Which
you
hero
wearing
do you
leather
think you want to
shoes?
be today?
Shut up.
I'm talking.
Instead of moving on, the interviewer kept pushing, prompting
Who are
Rivers
you
to
calling a
explode in a
raccoon,
fit of
huh?
rage.
You did hear it in some of those press conferences. There were people who were upset, and you're just saying,
No, you know,
Now,
I really am going
who
because
am I gonna
all
banish
of
from
that
this
is
match?
negative. All you have done is negative. I haven't heard that. I made people laugh for 50 years. I am put on earth to make people laugh. My book is funny. I I wear fur that was killed 15 years ago. I work for animal rights. Stop it with...
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
I'm a good guy who occasionally takes stuff that doesn't belong to him.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
And I shall, Your Unholiness, right after I have my time to rule.
You'll soon find time is meaningless in the afterlife.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
My hell is not a burning pit. It's a realm of trials.
You're ready for action! Relay deployed! It ain't cheap!
Watch this place.
I am barely harmed.
Don't mind me! I'm just dying! This is a nice spot!
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
My thanks, Hila.
No! Though she may be my sworn enemy, we have need of her today.
You're welcome! Here's how you nice shot!
We captured the mission area!
That's me! With this arrow. Nice.
Control thieves!
Follow the enemy! You're welcome!
Why would I need healing?
Could use some love here! Fine! Somewhere we can cut loose! You're welcome!
I am barely wounded.
Us against the world!
Don't mind me! I'm just dying!
Render me assistance?
You're welcome!
A feast for my crows!
This is real firepower! This is real firepower!
Asgard's might!
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
Needed that boost.
Who is behind you?
Use a hand.
See? You're welcome!
Foes draw near.
I wish you had always been Asgard's ally.
I am barely harmed.
Armor patch here! Pay up! Gotta pull back!
The area's almost yours!
Friends, a portal opens.
Repel them! Hold his towers!
Here's how you shoot!
What a sly god you are.
Team player! That's me! It ain't cheap!
Now
You're
with
welcome!
this arrow.
Nice.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Render me assistance.
We guard the galaxy, sure. But sometimes we take stuff other people are guarding.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Brother, remember that time you picked Munion's feathers clean and Father was furious?
It wasn't me.
Oh, like hell it wasn't. But I never figured out how he could forget. That bird remembers everything.
After you picked him clean,
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
This looks like a gig for the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Awaken the rage.
This is a nice spot.
Oh, they do not look happy.
Someone scratch my back. That was a little messed up.
I am damaged.
Gets in there. Much better.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now.
You're ready for action. Quail, you got one. I can't believe it.
ready to worship your god.
The mission area is yours.
We did it! Armor packed here!
Now
Chaos.
behold my full powers.
You're ready
on
for
the chaos.
Hey, team! Enjoy the amplifier! Well, okay. This is real firepower! Assemble! You're welcome.
A feast for my crows.
My good deed for the day.
Down on their heads.
Get off my turf or I'll drop you on the
Can't let him take control. Don't mind me. I'm just dying.
Don't quit.
You are restored. The more the merrier.
Oh, I'm gonna get some revenge.
You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
This place closely.
This is a nice spot. This is real firepower!
Victory's almost yours.
Quail, you got me. Seriously, stay. Someone scratch my back.
This was the doctor order. Save some for the rest of us, Captain Asgard.
I am a true top player. Much better. Here's how you shoot. You're ready for action.
I am Asgard's
Another epic victory. Big win.
Shoot on sight!
I can help. Let me at him.
Go.
Yeah.
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
Katy Perry, I just want to congratulate you on being the first astronaut.
Who are you calling a raccoon, huh?
Thanks, Jeff. It was one small step for women, one giant leap for my lifetime's tour. By the way, it's Captain Perry now. I went to space for real. That
Now,
makes me
who
space.
am I gonna banish from this match?
Exclusive event with all your favorite South Park characters. Dude, school is gonna be so awesome. I had explosive diarrhea all night. I like big boobs. Oh, hamburgers.
It makes perfect sense. I think the problem is you.
Beginning in October of 2024, Netflix began airing Orb on the Movements of the Earth, which has been receiving overwhelmingly positive reviews from critics and fans. This series is set in the early 15th century and depicts various characters working to develop the theory of heliocentrism, that the sun is the center of the cosmos as opposed to the Earth, all the while under threat from the Inquisition, which has deemed such propositions as heresy. But how much of the history did they get right, and how much is made up?
Pick your
In today's
hero.
video,
Or
we'll take a
villain.
look
I'm
at
not
Orb
judging.
on the movements of the Earth and compare it with the real history of astronomy before the telescope. Before we go any further, I'll issue a minor spoiler warning. While I'm going to avoid spoiling the plot as much as possible,
I'm a
going
good
to have
guy
to
who
discuss some of the
occasionally
historic
takes
points
stuff
that
that
are
doesn't
referenced,
belong
and
to him.
clever viewers may be able to infer the larger plot points surrounding them.
30
Thus,
seconds
if you
before you
haven't
attack.
watched the series
Get ready.
and you care about such things, consider saving this video to watch later.
This is not
On the
how
other
I was
hand,
expecting this day
having
to play
watched
out.
this video
Never
first
a dull moment
may
for
help
our crew,
enhance
eh,
your
Quill?
viewing experience.
I just hope
as
we
the
can get
series
this
is
wrapped up
packed
soon.
with subtle historical references.
I have plans.
One of
You
the central
made a
themes of
plan.
this series is the pursuit of
I guess
truth
there's
in
a
the
first
face of
time for
adversity,
everything.
with the truth in question being the nature of the arrangement of the cosmos, as
The battle starts
expressed
in
by the
5,
competing models
4,
of geocentrism
3,
and heliocentrism,
2,
which
1.
place the Earth and Sun at the
All you
center
need to do
of
is
the
capture the
perspective.
mission area.
So,
Got it?
let's begin by understanding
From what
where
I hear
geocentrism
about this
came
Doom
from.
character, I don't
During
think
the
I'm
time
gonna
in
like
which
him
the
very
series
much.
takes place, astronomers hadn't been able to measure the distance of the stars. At that time, all astronomers could tell about the stars was that they didn't seem to move relative to one another.
Yup, bubble, Mac.
Thus, astronomers assumed
Okay, bubble me.
that the stars were all affixed to a giant sphere of stars which rotated around them. This led to
The mission area is yours to capture now.
Earth, and planets were all experienced in this. But weighing on assumptions date back to the 4th century BCE with
You ain't got
Aristotle.
rid of me yet.
Specifically, Aristotle's model is discussed in episode 6, in which Bedini
We need to get all Spider-Man like right now.
created two worlds. This imperfect land beneath the moon's plane is subject to cycles of
Capture the
creation and
mission
destruction,
area.
as well as disorderly movement.
Bro, get all Spider-Man right now.
The heavens above are
Not even joking.
with no beginning.
I can play Spider-Man better than you. Like, no joke.
What's being described here is the Aristotelian model of the cosmos, which held that matter was largely composed of earth, water, air, and fire.
Yeah.
Here, bro. I'm just starting, bro.
Amounts of these which determine the properties of that object.
Your ego is very big, bro.
Meaning that composition
You are not the best Spider-Man, bro. Alone, bro.
In his model, the Earth was at the foundation, water floating over parts of it, surrounded by air. Above it was a sphere of fire. But beyond the sphere of fire, it was suddenly in a different realm entirely. Celestial. You're welcome. Where the object
This is real firepower! This is real firepower!
This material was had different fundamental properties that
Don't do this in my fucking com games, bro. Please.
Yet this contrast starts with observation. While the motion of the stars is extremely constant, the motion of the sun, moon, and planets with respect to these background stars is irregular. They speed up and slow down. For some planets, it can even reverse entirely, a phenomenon
Do whatever.
as retrograde motion. We are introduced to this concept.
You're showing. You're basically showing, you know.
Which Groff is observing
Well, who cares?
the planet Mars.
Judge, jury, execution!
He's warned in a public that it's unfortunate that he started his observations when he did, or he would have made a suit. Very motion of the sky slowed down. This is impossible to explain with very little assumptions. In response, the Greek astronomers tried to come up with a model that could explain these motions while still holding true to these philosophical presuppositions. Another of the presuppositions is that the Earth did not rotate on an axis. Rather, the daily motion of the cosmos was caused by the rotation of the entire heavens about the Earth every 24 hours. Ptolemy refers to this as the first primary of the heavens. To support this, Ptolemy argues that if the Earth rotated, the clouds, which are not affixed to the Earth, should be left behind, thus forcing the movement of the clouds to always be in one
30
direction,
seconds before you attack.
contrary to
Get
observation.
ready.
However, not all astronomers made this
Hey, I
assumption.
saw that turret thing.
Specifically,
How much you
Heraclides
want
of
for it?
Pontus from
Not
the
for
4th century
sale.
BCE and
What, are you
mentioned in
kidding?
episode
Everything's
8,
for sale.
proposed that the
Maybe
Earth
for other
did
people,
rotate.
not for me.
Lastly, the Greek astronomers held that the Earth was at the center of all of this, hence geocentrism. And the reason they placed
The
the
battle
Earth at the
starts in
center is
5,
fairly well explained
4,
in the first
3,
episode.
2,
Heavy things have
1.
a direction. They seem to
All you need to
want
do is
fly.
capture the mission
There
area.
was no
Got
notion
it?
that the mass of objects itself creates this attraction.
count of
So
4
the natural
right away?
assumption was that there was simply a point in the cosmos to which all things were attracted, with heavier things being more strongly attracted and more diffuse things less so.
Good to go.
Thus, since the element of Earth was the heaviest, it should naturally fall to that position, whereas the other elements, being lighter, were stacked as described previously. The heavenly aether, again, was given its These presumed facts made up the core of astronomical thinking for nearly 2,000 years and were the foundations for the models that various astronomers attempted to create.
This is real! This is real firepower!
Series is that of Ptolemy from the 2nd century. He wrote the most influential text on 1500 years, the Almanac. To explain this non-uniform motion, Ptolemy used several tricks, 2 of which get mentioned in the series. The first is known as centering. This simply means moving the center of the sphere
Judge,
jury,
execution!
It still moves in a perfect circle at speed, but by being slightly displaced, it will appear to move faster on the surface and nearer the Earth, and more slowly when further away. While this works well enough for the Sun, which only slows down and speeds up, it can't explain retrograde
Things
motion.
are gonna be different
Thus,
this time.
Ptolemy's second trick is to add another, smaller sphere to the larger primary sphere. This is known as an epicycle. When the object is on the portion of the epicycle's circle that carries it in the same direction as the primary sphere, is the deference. The motions will add together and move faster. When on the opposite, it appears to move slowly. If the rotational speed of the epicycle is fast enough, it can make it breathe backwards. By combining these concepts with another, known as an equine, Ptolemy was largely able to reproduce the motions of the planets, creating a model that could be used to calculate the position of these objects in the past or future. Pop history tends to leave off the next part of the story, leading people to assume that Ptolemy's model was accepted uncritically for over 1,000 years, a trap which Orb very nearly falls into. But this wasn't the case at all. Within a century or two after Ptolemy, astronomers were already finding that the predictions were off. But why? Astronomers examined the various components of the model and assumed that the weakest points were almost
This is real firepower!
that would provide the observations, therefore subject to error. The Aristotelian foundation built on pure logic continues to adhere
This is real!
Thus, we find several centuries of astronomy, particularly trying to revise these key figures of the model. Things like the year, the size, and speed of the various spheres. But when that failed, they began trying to rearrange the spheres. They even introduced some slight variations, such as an idea from Althusser, in which he considered spheres rolling within spheres instead of on them. Victory always seemed near, especially given that the models would work relatively well for the lifetime of a single human, and it was only as the errors accumulated that the problems stood out. Thus, the scientific process was slow to play out and saw little success, which is why this era tends to get left out. Orb does address this period somewhat. First is a brief mention in episode 7 that Arabian heretics have revived ancient...
Yo, Spider-Man, target the Iron Face, bro.
is from the character of Count Piast in episodes 8 and 9, in which he learns that Piast is attempting to revise the geocentric model and perfect it. However, these very generic statements are the entirety of the recognition that there were attempts to form. But they are interesting in that, taken together, they actually reference a specific Specifically, it is shown that Piast managed to introduce a set. The diagram presented is virtually identical to one from Ibn al-Shatir's model. This model is using the progressive process that was created in
real firepower! This is real firepower! You're welcome.
Specifically, Hipparchus' lunar model was simply a moon. This made reasonable prediction when the moon was in the new or full phase, but had considerable problems when at first and fourth. Ptolemy's solution was to move the center of the moon's large circle, the deferent, off of the Earth onto another small sphere, which would pull the deferent closer to the Earth during these two phases. This would amplify the effect of the epicycle and allow the model to make accurate predictions on the position of the moon in the sky. However, the method by which it would have pulled the moon closer implied that the moon's apparent size in the sky would change notably to the visible eye. Al-Shatir's double epicycle achieves the same result without the change in apparent size. Ibn al-Shatir is given a brief shout out in 675. Returning to the larger story of astronomy, some fail to recognize the progress that was made with attempts to revise the geocentric model. Instead, they suggest that astronomy failed to progress at all, and claim that it was actively suppressed by the Christian Church. Throughout the entire series, we find the Inquisition hot on the heels of heretics who would dare challenge the geocentric model. But was the Church opposed to astronomy? The answer is complicated, and I have an entire video exploring this in much more detail. The short version is that we need to recognize that astronomy in this time period was far more diverse than we tend to think of it today. It was more than just mathematical models. It also included using the heavens for practical purposes, timekeeping, and navigation. It included the philosophical arguments about the nature of the cosmos and our position in it, such as the Aristotelian assumptions we've just discussed. It also includes attempting to draw meaning from the heavens through astrology.
Which hero do you think you want to be today?
The degree to which the Church opposed astronomy is strongly dependent on exactly what form of astronomy we're talking about, and when. Broadly speaking, the Church was always in favor of using astronomy for practical purposes. It developed methods for telling time at night using the stars, and a complicated set of mathematics to determine the correct date for Easter, based on knowing the precise dates of the spring equinox. The church was somewhat less permissive when it came to the philosophical arguments. This was most aptly demonstrated
just
in the
asking,
13th
since you guys are all
century, when
lords,
new works from Aristotle and
is it
Plato
fine if I use
first
the J word
translated into
around you
Latin
guys?
and were excitedly discussed by the students at the University of Paris. The church issued a series of
I don't want to hurt or offend anyone.
initially
Is it fine if I use the J word, y'all?
But very quickly, we find that this was relaxed, and the church
Alright,
instead
let me
issued
see.
more specific condemnations
Job.
regarding answers to the philosophical
Excuse
questions
me, man. That,
it's contained.
that's really
Some of
offensive.
which
Sorry.
were
Job.
aspirational
Oh,
in
shit.
nature.
I said it again.
For
My bad.
example, one of the questions that Aristotle grapples with is whether or not the cosmos is eternal. Since his model posited a cosmos composed of the aether, which is
Pick
not
your
subject
hero.
to corruption,
Or villain. I'm
Aristotle
not judging.
assumed that it was. This obviously conflicted with the Christian account in which God created the universe at a specific point in the past. Thus, when a potential answer to a question directly contradicted Scripture, it was banned. The view on astrology from the church was even more complicated. Genesis clearly states that the stars can be looked to for signs, and even Jesus' birth was supposedly heralded with a celestial omen in the form of the Star of Bethlehem. Thus, Christianity was forced to be permissive of some forms of astrology, but continually wrestled with exactly what that limit was. By and large, the line tended to
30
be drawn
seconds
at
before you
having
attack.
to do with the
Get ready.
fates of humans, as this would contradict the doctrine of free will. Yet we still find various church members arguing that the stars
Aren't you
didn't
worried
control
about my
human
dark side
destiny,
anymore,
but merely
Stephen?
communicated God's will, and that it was up to humans whether or not to accept these instructions. Thus, astrology did not
Wait, they don't ban banner? Can I play banner, please? I want to play. Someone play no more, please. Just let me play banner, bro. I haven't played him in so long. Please, bro. I'm begging you. I am on my knees right now, begging you with my balls out.
Shut the hell up, bro.
In which in Abbott states, curiosity is a sin. Indeed, curiosity was considered a sin in the medieval church.
All right, let's just run bucket for now and then run no more later.
Eating is necessary, but too much is ruinous. Similarly, a little knowledge is good, but too much can lead to one of the deadly sins. Returning to mathematical models, the church was largely silent on the position of the church. Only once the Protestant Reformation began in the early 1500s do we find the church beginning to take any position. Yet even then, it was hesitant to do so. Copernicus published his major work on the heliocentric model in 1543, and it initially saw no pushback from the church. This may have been due to the fact that Andreas Osiander, who was called in to oversee the printing when Copernicus' student Giorgio Theoreticus was called away. Osiander inserted
They don't know how to roost, my boys. That's actually crazy.
not intended to be taken as a literal description of the arrangement of the cosmos, but a convenient mathematical model. Regardless, the church still made use of the work to help them reform the calendar to the Gregorian calendar that we still use today. Even Kepler's heliocentric model, published in 1609, was not immediately met with condemnation, even though Kepler was a devout Lutheran. Indeed, the Catholic Church repeatedly attempted to convert Kepler, and Kepler even believed in all of God, but would not agree to espouse views which he held to be false.
I'm back, don't worry. Your healer's here, your sexy healer's here.
But took no direct action against him, likely in part because
Then you
Catholics, he did not fall under their religious jurisdiction. It was only as Galileo began using the telescope and publishing his works supporting heliocentrism that the church finally placed the various heliocentric texts on the index of the books. But even then, the church was still if they made it clear, that they were not attempting to assert the truth of the cosmos. Thus, the resistance to heliocentrism was weak at best. This brings us to Galileo.
Don't mess with the amazing Spider-Man! This is real firepower!
Don't hear you. Raccoon, right?
We can see that the church is largely making things up as they go along. As Galileo continued to expand on heliocentrism, the church feels that it needed to establish an official position in 1650 we find that the Inquisition discussed the matter with the Giornati Octaviani. In this, they affirmed that Galileo had advocated the heliocentric model, but that the Church needed to determine the theological status of Scripture either for or against heliocentrism before proceeding against him.
Bro, they're dumb as hell, bro. If they ran Gamma, we would have swapped the comp right there. I can't even lie. These motherfuckers have no clue what they're doing. No clue.
Heretical, since it explicitly contradicts in many places the sense of Holy Scripture according to the literal meaning of the words and according to the common interpretations and understanding of the Holy Fathers and the doctors of theology. Only once this conclusion was reached did the Church order Galileo to abstain completely from teaching or defending this doctrine and opinion, or from discussing it. Yet in 1632, Galileo published his dialogue concerning the two chief world systems. To be fair, Galileo had sought explicit permission from Pope Urban VIII to write such a work, and was granted it, so long as he made it clear that the work was entirely hypothetical, and that Galileo included some of the arguments from Urban himself regarding the omnipotence of God. As the name suggests, this was not a scientific treatise as we would understand it today. Rather, it was a dialogue between various characters who would debate various ideas. However, the author of the dialogue concluded that one of the speakers ineffectively or simply failed to make an argument.
They're running Gamma, they're running Gamma, they're running Gamma! They're full Gamma, full Gamma, full Gamma!
And this is largely what Galileo did. In this dialogue,
Maximum pulse!
simply to defend the geocentric position. Although Galileo claims that this was based on the world, it was also clearly used by the word to indicate that the speaker was a simpleton. And many believe that it was based on a certain
This is real firepower! Your powers are mine! Us against the world!
This caused Galileo to lose what little favor he had and brought him into direct conflict with the Inquisition. Galileo briefly tried in 1633, threatened with torture, and one was actually employed as Galileo's cantor. But having already been found guilty, he was placed under house arrest for the rest of his life. What we can see from this entire time is that the admonition from the Church against heliocentrism came only very late in this discussion, some 80 years after Copernicus had written De Revolutionis, which wasn't even his first proposal of heliocentrism. That was in a work known as the Commentariola. The Church's response was extremely delayed, as it first censored the book, insisting that they present heliocentrism as a hypothetical, and only took directives against Galileo when he defied. And even then, Galileo was never tortured or executed. Some of you may be wondering about the case of Giordano Bruno, who was burned at the stake in 1600. While Bruno certainly argued in favor of a non-orthodox cosmology, this was nowhere near the core of the charges against him. As we just saw, the Church did not have any position on the arrangement of the cosmos. Unfortunately, the record of Bruno's cosmos is a lost time. What little we do only tells us that Bruno knew the cosmos. However,
don't worry about it, I got you, bro.
Which were likely contributed, if not more successful factors, and included combining several core components, including Trinity, Divinity, Christ, and even transubstantiation. So, having debunked the notion that the Church was staunchly against heliocentrism, let's begin to examine heliocentrism itself. Heliocentrism is, at its core, just the argument that the sun is the center of the solar system. As alluded to in episode 2, the earliest proposal of such a model is attributed to Aristarchus from the 3rd century BCE. Unfortunately, as with most of the
I gotta use my healer up.
Aristarchus' original work what little we do know comes from a book entitled The Sand
Let me still cook it.
in which he claims the fixed stars in the sun.
Maximum pulse!
The Earth revolves about the sun in the circumference of the circle. The sun is the middle. It is unclear whether this was simply a qualitative model, or if Aristarchus was able to devise and calibrate a fully mathematical one capable of making predictions. Regardless, Ptolemy's model was the one that survived, and heliocentrism largely faded into astronomical imagination.
This is a nice
It was first revived by Copernicus in 1514 in his Commentariolis, but this text was not widely distributed. It wasn't until 1543 that heliocentrism truly died. There's a bit of a myth regarding this text, that it was largely ignored. This is because we don't find that astronomers publishing discussions, commentaries.
Yo, someone needs to switch up the comp.
Copies of the text frequently demonstrate that they often have extensive notes taken by their owners and marketers.
Join, I can use.
Were being read and given due consideration. So it's not clear.
Yo, can we
commentaries.
flip up the comp real quick?
But while Copernicus was able to
Run gamma.
derive a mathematical model, he was unable to shake himself of the Aristotelian
Like Winter
philosophy.
Soldier, maybe you can run gamma with
He
me.
continued
When the chips
to
are
assume
down,
perfect
you want your
circles
heroes a
with
little
uniform
roguish and
motion, and
scruffy,
was
like
fully
me.
aware that simply placing the planets on these would not make accurate predictions. As such, he was forced to resort to eccentric circles, epicycles, and equants.
30 seconds
He
before
I can run Hulk,
some
bro. I can run Hulk. I can run Hulk, but the issue is no one can
spheres
run
only
Hulk.
within spheres. But ultimately, Copernicus's model did not offer significant
I
simplification.
mean, I can swap it to a different healer, but I think Loki's already good.
particularly improved predictions. Thus, heliocentrism itself needed immediate refinement, which came relatively swiftly from the astronomer Johannes Kepler.
Alright, Brady, if you can run, because I'm a Hulk main, I know how to
It was still
play.
the default assumption at the time. But his teacher, Michael Messier, also introduced.
Someone now just needs to take care of goddamn,
While
what
Kepler
you call it?
favored Copernicus's heliocentric model, he was well aware of its issues. In the introduction to his 1609 work, Astronomia Nova,
The Iron
Kepler
Man.
points out that in August and September of 1593, the observed position of Mars in the sky was nearly 5 degrees off.
Their Hulk doesn't know how to play all three. Like, even
Kepler ultimately broke free of the Aristotelian system. He replaced the circles with ellipses and allowed us to vary, such as the algorithm of gravity closer to the sun and more slowly. Kepler states that this new model fit the data perfectly and made the 5-degree error of Mars disappear entirely. As a brief aside, Kepler was not actually the first to propose using ellipses for astronomical orbits. That recognition actually goes to the first character directly depicted.
I can steal someone's ult.
That is a true historical character, Albert Brudzinski. However, Brudzinski only applied an ellipse to the Earth and Moon. Brudzinski was a lecturer on Aristotelian philosophy at Krakow campus, where he taught Copernicus. In theory, this would
This is real firepower!
You're ready for it should be
W gamma shit.
depicted from Brudzinski's childhood are entirely speculative, and little is known about his life and his graduation. In episode 10, we get a brief retcon of the history of Tycho Brahe and Kepler and Copernicus. As he works on his version of the heliocentric model, he's frustrated that
Bro,
his
as a Hulk main, bro, I'm so proud of you, bro. You make us Hulk mains look beautiful.
Whether it's the model that's wrong or the observations. This is
Goated.
essentially the question that Tycho Brahe asked.
You deserve Lord, bro.
As a child, he was frustrated to find an eclipse occurred a day later than astronomical models predicted. He realized that the models were built on observations and thus made his life's orbit to produce the most precise observations. Houdini then stumbles on the notion of creating a
Go.
which requires observing Mars in the same position in orbit. Of course, the Earth
This is real firepower!
determine the true position.
You'll have to keep fighting until you have a winner.
For Brahe's records, Kepler had 5 observations of Mars, allowing him to
Their gamma's
determine
good.
points along its orbit. He could then
They have no healer ult, so just portal. It might have maximum pulse, but I think they used it already.
Model offered significant improvements in the predictions it offered.
They have maximum pulse. Watch out, watch out.
In episode 11, Genie says something similar, noting that there is much left to explain in terms of maximum velocity. While Copernicus and Kepler had made leaps forward in astronomy,
Maximum pulse!
There, Rahal objects to a moving Earth, noting that if he jumps, he lands precisely from Earth. This seemingly disproves the Earth moving in the elliptic the bodies naturally want to rest. Unless actively being pushed by a force, they would slow down until they were moving. This is essentially the same argument that Darwin was using against the moving Earth.
Let's keep fighting until we have a winner.
Physics has not yet developed the notion of
I couldn't use my shift, my bad.
One argument we often hear in
This is real firepower!
An argument in simplicity even pops up in episode 6. You can tell right? This argument is essentially invoked as a principle that is popularly paraphrased as Q-Q theory, a simpler explanation. The name refers to the 13th century theologian William of Ockham, although Ockham is not actually known to have made this argument. Other philosophers, both contemporary philosophers as well as earlier, did accept some argument. So, the second argument is not out of place. However, this is not going to be Copernicus actually made in favor of his own model. Instead, Copernicus notes the rather capricious arrangement of the planets in the geocentric model. Specifically, the geocentric model placed Mercury and Venus closer to the Earth than the Sun, but Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn more distant. Furthermore, Mercury and Venus are never observed too far away from the Sun in the sky. To account for this, Ptolemy made the speed of their deferent circles equal to that of the Sun, and accounted for their distance from it almost exclusively through their epicycles. However, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn are